when you're selling, you have to tell a compelling story. To give you a really good example. So, Patty, I just, right before we recorded this episode, had a great conversation with one of our 6-week Jumpstart participants and doing some one-on-one coaching. And she is trying to close quite a few large deals. And, she's not having trouble getting the decision maker. She's not having trouble getting them interested. She's not even having trouble really getting them to say, yes, we are interested in moving forward. But then she just is having a lot of trouble just getting it done. You know what I mean? Like, how do I just get this deal? I can't get the paperwork signed. I can't get it installed. I just can't get it over the finish line. It just seems like it keeps taking forever. And so I talked to her about the importance of storytelling in sales. And so when you're selling, you have to tell a compelling story about why things should move forward. So I'll give you an example. In her case, this particular merchant is a large company. She was trying to sell them cash discounting. They're currently doing Interchange Plus, and they have equipment now. It's an old FD 150 terminals that they use, and they want to switch to the new tablets. So she's selling, I think it's Swipe Simple. And so she's offering like a Swipe Simple tablet with a dongle on it that you can use for EMV or Swipe. And she can do cash discount or traditional processing. I said, why don't you go in there and say, as I'm sure you're aware, the supply chain, especially for electronics, is a disaster right now.
Right.
But before I came to this meeting today, I did confirm with my team that we do have enough hardware available for you right now that we can move forward. So before I leave today, the only thing I want to do is I do want to make sure we get this equipment order in. Now, if you'd rather just go with it, traditional processing like you have now, if you're more comfortable with that for right now, that's fine. We can always switch to the cash discount down the road. But the most important thing is we need to get that equipment order in today. And so let's get this paperwork filled out. But did you want to go with traditional, or do you want to go ahead and give the cash discounting a shot? That's a compelling story. That's going to get that merchant to say, oh, wow, I need to move forward, right? So, maybe it's equipment supply. Maybe it's a manufactured, discount. I was telling her a story about, my first sales job. I was selling lawn care for True Green. I was like 19 years old, and they had twice a year, they had this thing they called Sell-a-thon. So Sell-a-thon was this one day, it was a Saturday. Everybody came into the office, and right at the beginning of the day, they would give us all this sheet that said, here's the prices for today, the special prices for today. It was usually a 30-35% discount on lawn care services for the first year. Well, we would all year be selling people, and they would want a discount, and we would say, I'm sorry, we don't discount. And if we couldn't sell them, we'd say, now we do have one day a year that we discount. It's Sell-a-thon. Can I call you back on that day and, try to sell you? And, we would make a lot of sales that day, obviously. But, ultimately, it's not that they couldn't give a discount on a different day. That's a story. They're telling a story. They're creating a narrative. And when I started my own company, I very quickly realized, I was like, man, I'm my own company now. I have to create my own narrative.
Right.
And so I did. And so every month, even on a weekly basis or a per client basis, I would figure out what is my company's pricing policy relative to this situation. And I would create a compelling story. I'd go in and say, hey, I've got great news. This month, I'm offering this. And so this special offer ends July 1st. Sometimes I would bring, one of my favorite ones is I would bring either 100 or even $500 third piece, 1/3 of a piece of paper, and it would look like $100 bill.
Right.
And I brought it on one side, it was a $100 bill. On the other side, it was kind of my marketing piece. And I would hand it to them and say, any new clients that sign up, as soon as we get the paperwork done, submitted, and approved, I will give you a $100 Visa gift card just as a thank you for being a new client of mine. And that's something I'm doing through July 1st, or whatever it is. Could be free equipment. It could be any number of things. But if you think you're going to go in and close, especially a larger deal, and you're not going to create that narrative, it's going to take you forever. It's your job as the salesperson to infuse the urgency into that situation by sharing a compelling narrative, a compelling story that gets your point across that, hey, if we're going to move forward, we need to do it now. And then the final tip I gave her was I said, you need to shift your mindset. And so the mindset of the salesperson, a lot of people talk about the patient salesperson. I agree, but disagree with that. So yes, good salespeople are patient, meaning they have a long-term view of their success.
Sure.
So they understand it takes a while. But with individual accounts, I like not very patient. So the idea there is either you're part of my sales pipeline or you're not. So I'll give you a really good example. And we deal with large clients all the time with our ISO AMP business, which is our statement analysis company. We have at any given time, I probably have 6 or 7, well-known brands that have, more than 200 salespeople that are evaluating our statement analysis service, right? And we sign up 1 or 2 of them a month. These are very long sales cycles. Well, what I do is very simple on that side of the business. I give it to them for free initially, and say, hey, just use it, try it out, take 3 or 4 of your reps, go in there, use it, right? And then we wait until we have a good rationale, a good story, a good, narrative of some kind to move forward with that deal. Maybe it's them reaching out, whatever it is. But to me, then once they reach out, and then it's like, okay, you're ready to talk seriously about doing this. Let's do it. Right.
You've had a chance to use it. You
right.
know how good it is. So let's move.
Let's go.
Right.
And if you don't want to go right now, I'm very patient, meaning if you would like me to ignore you, I will ignore you for a while because I have other people I'm trying to sell.
Right.
But if you mean patient as in I'm going to waste my time with lots and lots and lots of endless meetings to no purpose, no, I'm not patient at all. If you want to try it out and you want me to ignore you for a while, I'm more than happy to do that. But if we're going to be part of a sales process, let's go because I'm busy and I have other things to do.
Right.
And so salespeople need to get themselves in that same mindset when you're talking to a merchant of, again, going back to the narrative, putting these all together. You could say, look, Susan, the truth is, I'm just being honest with you, there is a big supply chain issue right now, especially when it comes to electronics. Look it up. You'll see, this is across the board, semiconductors. I mean, this is a big issue in a lot of industries.
Sure.
Right now, our company, if this is your case, you could say right now, our company does have a good supply of hardware for the next 30 days. And so what's happening is we have a lot of businesses that are looking to us right now because they need to upgrade hardware and we have it. How long we're going to have it, I don't know. But what I want to find out from you is this something you're seriously considering now that you'd like to move forward with? Or do you want me to not worry about this now and we can check back later on down the road when we have a supply of equipment again?
Right.
So the idea is I'll be patient. I'm fine to talk with you in, 3-6 months. I don't care. I have a lot of other people I'm selling. But if you want to move forward, let's go because I have the equipment right now. So we're giving that narrative. So again, there's so many variations of that. It depends so much on the size of the merchant, the type of the merchant, the sales process, the decision maker. But ultimately, as a salesperson, one of your most important jobs is crafting a compelling story and narrative for that specific account that's going to resonate with them and it's going to get them to take action and feel that there's some urgency to it.
So it's more like, so you're selling by telling. Yes. But it's by telling something that's of import.
Yeah, you've got to get their mindset wrapped around what is the logic for them? Why should they move forward now versus waiting until later? Yeah. If you haven't given them a compelling reason, understand the opportunity cost here. These are busy people. They have, you're like, well, I don't know what their problem is. This big company, I could save them $1,000 a month. Do you not understand? Like, I don't think our industry really gets it. Like $1,000 a month for a big company. Okay. For my company personally, $1,000 a month to me is, I mean, I don't want to say meaningless because it's money is money. But I mean, I have employees, lots of employees that I pay $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month to. So you're going to save me 1/6 of one of my many employees. I mean, sure, I would love to, but ultimately I have a lot of other things going on. I have a lot of opportunities I'm pursuing. I have a lot of things to do with my time. And so, the question is, in the time it would take me to save $1,000 a month with this vendor, could I have instead focused on making $5,000 a month in additional revenue on the other side of my business? And so that's how these business owners are thinking. And so when you go in there and you're like, well, I'm just going to let the savings do the work. I'm saving you $1,000 a month. They'll make a decision. No, they won't.
No.
You have to give them a compelling narrative. Now, if somebody came to me and said, I can save you $1,000 a month right now, but if you wait 30 days, you're not going to be able to save that $1,000 a month. Well, okay, if I believe you, you've definitely got my attention now. If I realize I'm not going to be able to take advantage of this $1,000 opportunity again, okay, all right, fine. But if you're just saying, hey, whenever you want, you can save $1,000 a month, let's talk next month. I'm busy.
Right.
So I think it would be helpful for agents in our industry to kind of wrap their mind around that mindset and that, an understanding, and then weave a narrative that's going to get people like me off the fence and making decisions, even though we are busy and even though there's a lot of other opportunities on our plate.